Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of The Best and Worst of Walt Disney World. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Mr. Sean Faulk.
Hi.
And Mr. Steve Porter.
Hello.
So, this week we're going to talk about the best food service and quick service locations at the Disney resorts as voted on by you. We placed a poll on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/DisUnplugged, and we asked folks to vote for their favorite quick service or food court locations at the Disney resorts. And some, not surprising. The order of some of these are a little surprising, but for me anyway. But
I was not at all surprised by the top three. After that, it starts to get a little blurry for me, but I wasn't surprised at all with that.
What's interesting is the bottom three are separated by only 0.3 of a point. We had a total of 1,133 responses to the poll. Starting at number 5 on the list, Disney's Pop Century Resort, the Everything Pop Food Court, with 9.6% of the vote. This does surprise me a little bit because it's not. I never considered it a very good food court.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised with this one too, but I will note that in the worst, it's the number 6th worst. So there's definitely either you love it or you hate it. So maybe some people have a particular burger that they really love there that we don't know about or something. Because
I think that what happened was, because it's not like it's a bad place to eat necessarily, but it's certainly not like this standout place where you're like, oh my God, we must like ride the bus over immediately and eat at the Pop Century Hotel. I think what happened is a lot of times like families will come and they'll stay at the All-Star resorts. Probably they decided another time like, oh, let's stay at Pop Century because it's a little bit higher up in the value, like price wise. So it's at one notch up kind of. And so I think maybe they ate there and they were like, oh, this is so much better than the All-Star resorts.
I think you're absolutely right.
And Pop Century's really
That's
good.
a good point.
So
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's exactly what it is because when we do the worst, you'll see how the All-Stars fared.
Right.
So I think you're right because now you might think that price-wise it's a bump up, but it really isn't at Pop Century. It's all priced in the same as the value category.
Right. I think it just comes off that way, I
but
guess.
It is definitely very popular. Pop Century is well loved by many, many, many people, and for good reason. It's a really cool.
Oh, it's neat,
a really cool vibe. It's a really cool resort. So I think you might be right. I think in comparison to the All Stars, well, then again, pretty much, somebody with a hibachi on Orange Blossom Trail is going to compare well to the food courts at the All Stars, but not an awful lot of daylight between Disney's Pop Century Resort food court and the food court coming in at number 4 on our list, which is Disney's Port Orleans Riverside, the Riverside Mill Food Court, got 9.7% as opposed to 9.6% for Pop Century. Literally one vote separated the two.
Very close, yeah.
And I've always considered Riverside one of the better food courts.
I think it's well deserving. After seeing what the top 3 are, I think it's probably right at the right spot. But I do think there's kind of a big gap. I think Rivers, as good as it is, I think there's a big jump from 4 to 3 in my opinion.
There's not in terms of the votes.
Right.
And this one surprised me. Number 3 on the list, the Mara at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. And I don't know if it's just enough people haven't experienced it, or maybe they're having an experience other than the one I've had there. I don't know, maybe 100 times.
Right.
Food is delicious.
Yeah, it's really good. Really unique quick service too, and lots of seating. I also think maybe where it suffers I think it might have been a little bit higher if it weren't in the same resort that had Boma and Jico in it, which are really great restaurants. But that being said, it's still a great quick service location.
And as I've said, and I stand by this, of all the resorts at Walt Disney World, the food and beverage at Animal Kingdom Lodge, by a mile, the best of anything else at Disney. Jico, Boma, and yes, the Mara. The food is routinely excellent. It's consistently excellent. So I was surprised. I was surprised not only that it came in number 3, although I do understand with the 2 that are ahead of it. Not only that it came in number 3, but it was so close between Pop Century, Port Orleans, and Animal Kingdom Lodge.
For me, I think I'm not surprised at all based on the numbers and stuff. I mean, I've never eaten at the Mara, but I know in all the times of me coming to Disney, like as a kid and everything, we always stayed at one of the All-Star resorts because Art of Animation and Pop Century weren't open yet. And if we decided to splurge and have like a year of doing that, we would stay at either Riverside or Caribbean Beach, definitely a moderate level. And that was like a grand jump for us kind of thing. And we would have never even considered staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Like for us, it was just like, we only go to the parks really, like the hotel is just a place to stay and like rest our head kind of thing. And we're really there for the parks. But for people who love the hotel aspect of it as well at the resort, and who splurge and stay at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, I think that we're the same people staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge that are also staying at Pop Century and Riverside, then the Mara would be much higher as far as numbers go.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
True. Well, coming in at number 2, and this is a pretty big jump between the Mara and this restaurant, over at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, Captain Cook's, with 16.1% of the vote. So we went from 9.6, 9.7, 9.9 to 16. So there's a big gap
Big jump,
here.
yeah.
And again, based on the review you guys did recently, and certainly my experiences there, I get why this is. I actually thought it might have been a little closer between this and...
Yeah, I'm surprised that there's
Number
another
1.
big jump. But yeah, this is because Captain Cook's is my favorite. Like I said on the dining show, Captain Cook's is my favorite quick service location on Walt Disney World property. I like the location. I like there's almost like a quaintness to it because it's just like kind of those 2 little rooms and then the outdoor seating. I love the whole way it's set up. I love the menu. I love everything about that quick service location.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. Quick service certainly deserves to be on the top list, but I'm not surprised by what came in at number 1, which is Art of Animation's Landscape of Flavors, routinely widely considered to be the best food court at Walt Disney World. 21% of you voted that as your best food court.
Mm-hmm. I think, again, it's the best quick service at a value resort, so that helps for Sean's reasoning earlier of kind of like why people might like Pop. I think the same is true for this, but it also excels in the fact that the food is then also genuinely good. Where maybe, I don't know if that's true in my opinion about Pop quick service or food court, but it's definitely true about Landscape of Flavors. I think I forgot what their burger is. Let me bring it back up. But they have a burger there that's like delicious. And I traditionally don't like Disney burgers because they kind of like they're all mass-produced hockey pucks in my opinion. But it was a chicken burger. The chicken burger there is like really good. It's like has queso on it and black beans and all this stuff, and it's so good.
Yeah, from the moment Art of Animation opened, people were nuts over this food court.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people from Pop now will walk across the bridge.
I've suggested that multiple times because it's not exactly a short walk, but you can walk across the bridge between Pop Century and Art of Animation and head over to that. And I always considered, I never considered the Pop food court to be very good. So I would always say to people, just walk over to, if it's not too much of a hassle, you get much better food at Landscape of Flavors.
Mm-hmm. I'll say definitely for one, the place is like visually stunning, like compared to anything else. I mean, it's very divided up for like Cars area, Lion King area, like Little Mermaid, Finding Nemo area. I went and did this and Captain Cook's like in preparation for this because we knew it was going to be high on the list, and the variety of food, I think it's high because it's really the only one that's a real food court, in my opinion. I mean, a food court is like there's a pizza place, there's a chicken place, you know, they're very separate. Even the lines are separated out. Like if you want pizza, that's a pizza line, that's a burger line. And so that's how a food court works. So I think that's something for people. And even when I was there, it's almost like being on a cruise, I would say, is the big thing, because there's like the big booth area, and then a large seating dining area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very cruise-esque. You can even like make your own pasta and all that kind of stuff. So they have those
I never thought about it like
available
that.
things.
No,
It's definitely. I was like, I'm getting really strong like cruising vibes from this.
That's a good compliment.
It's a good compliment, but I also not thought of it like that. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah, like that's just how it is there. And especially for me, the best part, even beyond that, was I usually avoid Disney desserts. I don't think unless you're at like a nice sit-down place, I don't think that the snacks and desserts are usually typically too
Also
good.
like cruise line.
But the actual like dessert, you know, glass box over there that you can go to or whatever and get stuff out of it. I got like a chocolate whoopie pie and a cherry tart when I was there, and both of them were like really excellent. I was shocked at how good it was, because I usually avoid that side of the Disney stuff or whatever. They have gelato too, which was like okay, but the other stuff that they actually had made fresh every morning is a big step up from what's in the park that they make fresh-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. That's a good place.
All right, so there you have it, the top 5 food courts and quick service dining locations at the Walt Disney World Resort Hotels. Number 5, Pop Century Resort, Everything Pop Food Court. Number 4, Disney's Port Orleans Riverside, the Riverside Mill Food Court. Number 3, Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, the Mara. Number 2, Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, Captain Cook's. And number 1, Disney's Art of Animation Resort, Landscape of Flavors. And that will do it for this episode of The Best and Worst of Walt Disney World. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with you again next week. Thanks for being with us, everyone.